Hi there and welcome. I'm Rabbi Nahum Eth with the Las Vegas Kollel. The Chofetz Chaim in his introduction explains what motivated him to write his book. And one of the things that he points out is, aside from the prohibition of speaking Lashon Hara, of speaking negatively about one another, there's another prohibition of listening to Lashon Hara and receiving Lashon Hara. And he tells us that many times people are familiar with the laws of speaking Lashon Hara, and maybe we're going to be careful in particular not to speak negatively about one another, but we're not as careful to listening to Lashon Hara and receiving negative reports one another. I find this very common nowadays, particularly in areas like social media. There are plenty of people who are very careful or somewhat particular not to post negative posts about their friends, about other people, and they don't speak negatively about one another on social media. But we'll peruse social media. We'll read all the posts that our friends and colleagues and other people post negative stories about others. People are oftentimes in places like social media, they might be particular and careful from speaking negatively, but we're not as particular from receiving negative information. The Chofetz Chaim tells us that people in general are often unfamiliar with the laws of receiving Lashon Hara, of listening to Lashon Hara. And that's yet another reason the Chofetz Chaim tells us why it's so important for him to write his book and for us to study his book, to become familiar. It's not just speaking Lashon Hara, it's not just speaking negatively that's prohibited, it's also listening and receiving negative reports about our friends.